What is failure? And what does it mean to fail? We often have to define failure and success for ourselves throughout life. Since my childhood, I've downloaded advice from others about failure, adversity, perseverance. Some of the advice has led me to unique experiences, whether it be working at the White House or donating my entire closet in the name of joy. Other times, I've received advice from others that made it seem as if failure was inevitable. Failure was a part of my journey, or even my destiny. In the 10th grade, I took U.S. history with one of my favorite teachers, Mr. W. Mr. W was sitting in front of the classroom one day, examining our red and white U.S. history textbook, and he just began to chuckle. And I looked at Mr. W, I looked at my classmates, and I'm wondering, what's so funny? It's the same textbook we've had all semester. So I approached him. I said, Mr. W, why are you laughing? What's so funny about the textbook? Did I miss something? And despair washed over his face. And he looked at me and said, you know, my daughter, who is in the 5th grade, has the exact same textbook. Now here it is. I'm 16 at the time, straight A student, honor roll, varsity cheerleading, college is definitely in the future. But in that moment, I felt as if my straight A GPA meant nothing. How is it that a 5th grader on the other side of the proverbial tracks has access to a better textbook or the same textbook as I? Do I have a 5th grade U.S. history textbook, or does she have a 10th grade history textbook? Was life designed to be better for her? Does she have more options than the inner city kids on this side of the tracks, the all-black school? My parents certainly couldn't afford a private school education. So what does that mean for me? What does failure look like for me? Is college worth going for? Should I try it? These insecurities and feelings of doubt would surface again. My freshman year at Xavier University, which was a private Jesuit institution in the heart of Cincinnati, it was my first time experiencing true failure. I made it through high school. That part was easy. But once I got to Xavier, I was the only African-American student in most of my classes. Also at Xavier, I got my first D, and another D, and another D, and another C, which was a huge blow to my ego because I'm a straight A student. I don't get Ds. I don't even get Bs. It wasn't acceptable. So what do? I don't feel as if I belong. I don't know how to follow the syllabus. I can't keep up with 17 credit hours worth of syllabi. I've never even had one before. So I started having conversations with my friends and some of my classmates and some family members, and I said, I don't think I'm going to make it, not because I want to quit or because I want to give up, but I'm literally failing out of college. I don't know what to do. I've been inadequately prepared. I'm the only one who looks like me in my classes, and I don't feel as if I can go to someone for help. Some of my friends, some of my family members said, go to community college or just get a job. You'll figure it out. You're smart. And for a moment, I believed them. I thought, maybe I should go to community college. Maybe I should give up because I don't belong here, I can't keep up, and I have no one to talk to about it. I was the first generation person in my family to go to college. My mom, my parents, my grandparents, no one knew what a FAFSA was, financial aid, student loans. I just knew that I was supposed to go. So I had to figure it out. So I asked my classmates, how are you studying? What are you doing that I'm not doing? How are you managing 17 credit hours worth of syllabi as a 17-year-old? Teach me your ways. How are you presenting your materials to the professors? But the most important question I asked my classmates was, have you seen this information before? And almost all of them had been exposed to the information before. That's how they were able to keep up. They had seen it before in high school. This was my first time seeing it. I didn't know how to do this. So what did I do? I spent double the amount of time in the library as my classmates. I worked extra hard in office hours with some of my professors. Some were willing to work extra hard with me in office hours, others were not. Eventually, I pulled my D's to C's and B's. I was never the straight A student again, but I didn't fail out. You see, failure can be designed for you if you allow it to be, or you can change the blueprint. Each of us at some point in our lives will experience hardships and challenges. And we're often taught that the hardship or the challenge is the thing that's going to gent us out to something greater. It's going to propel us to greatness. We're going to learn this amazing lesson from this hardship. But actually, it's not the hardship. We should actually give credit where credit is due, to ourselves. During hardships and challenges, you begin to deeply reflect on, why am I in this situation? How can I get out of this situation? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? After the panic. And then participatory introspection. You begin to dive deep into your inner self. It is in this moment that you reach what Maslow refers to as self-actualization. It is in this moment, other people will say, you're closest to God. It is in this moment that you're able to tap into your inner fire. In the international film, Black Panther, it was referred to as vibranium. And in Black popular culture, Black women refer to it as Black girl magic. So if we allow our magic to surface, greatness is inevitable. The year is 2010. I graduate from Xavier. I get a job in the middle of a terrible economy, so my B's and C's landed me well. I sign a new 12-month apartment lease. I have a new salary and benefits. I have a new car loan, 5 years. But most importantly, I was just so excited that it worked. I made it through college. Not the best GPA, but I made it. And I also got a job. So the plan worked out for me in terms of changing the blueprint. I'm in the new job. It's not what I majored in. I majored in communications. The job is in finance. This is also during the recession. 3 weeks into the job, I meet some of the regional vice presidents from Chicago. I was luckily able to impress them. And I remember thinking, okay, I'm gonna start here in the company and then work my way over to marketing and communications, which is where I really wanted to be. And in another 3 weeks, everyone in the Midwestern region received notice that we were all losing our jobs. So, it's a recession. I've lost my job. I have little job experience to sell myself to another company. I have a new car loan that I cannot pay without a job. and a 12-month lease that I doubt I am unable to get out of. What do? Failure seems inevitable. It's coming. There are no jobs, and it is the story of everyone in Ohio at this point, in Michigan. No one has a job. Boo-hoo. But student loans are coming, so I need to figure it out fast. So I remember applying for hundreds of jobs. During this time, the website Career Builder was a tool that we all used in undergrad, and you could send your resume to hundreds of companies with just one click. And I clicked all day, and I clicked all night. And I applied to every internship, every fellowship, every apprenticeship, every management trainee program. I even watched YouTube videos about the laws of attraction, and I envisioned myself walking into my office in communications, working my dream job every day. But it didn't happen. I either never got the interview or got the interview but wasn't qualified because I had no work experience, because obviously I just graduated from undergrad. And I remember feeling as if I'm gonna give up, I'm gonna move back home with my mom, I'm gonna turn my car in, and I have to tell everyone that I failed. I failed the family, because I'm the one that's supposed to make it. I'm the first one in the family to go to college. Everyone's looking up to me. So I'm preparing myself for this speech. And then I receive a letter in the mail. Dear Desiree, you really impressed some of the regional VPs a few weeks ago. We noticed you still haven't found employment. If you would like to rejoin the company, if you find another job in another state, we will relocate you on us. Great. So I applied for another job with the company, and eventually I landed a job in the Washington, D.C. area. But because I was in Ohio, I lateraled over in the pay grade. So I was making the same amount of money as I was in Ohio as I was making in D.C. So basically, paycheck to paycheck. I had just enough money to pay my car note, rent doubled, and then after that, maybe $15 to $20 for gas money. Every 2 weeks, I received a paycheck, and every 2 weeks, I was broke. But more importantly, I was miserable. I hated this new job. It was nothing like the work I was doing in Cincinnati. But I love living in DC, but I hate being broke. And I also hate the job. And I can't complain. There's no way I can tell my family I want to quit my paying job so that I can come back home because I don't like it, after I just begged them to pray for me that I get the job so that I can pay my bills. So I can't complain, but I'm miserable. I have zero passion for the work. Every day I get out of bed, every day it is a struggle. So failure is coming. I'm preparing myself, giving myself the same speech. I'll go home, turn my car in, go stay on mom's couch, tell everyone in the family, guys, I let you down. I can't do it. And then I receive another phone call. It's the White House. Desiree, we'd like you to come intern for President Obama for free, unpaid. And so I think everything is negotiable. So I said, okay, can I do it part-time? Because I still have to work during the day to live. They said, no, if you want to do this, it's full-time. I said, okay. So I thought about it. I said, okay, well, I have my rent paid for 30 days. I have my car note paid for 30 days. I have enough beans to last me 60 days. And yeah, I can figure out how to park at my cousin's and like walk and do the metro. It'll work out. But I will only be able to do it for 30 days because after that, there's no more money. My working class family can't afford my Washington, D.C. bills if I quit my job. Second, my working class family probably won't understand why I quit a paying job for an unpaid job in one of the most expensive cities in the country. So what did I do? I thought about what failing looked like. Well, 30 days of something is better than being here where I am miserable for another 30 days. So I went for it. By design, you are not supposed to succeed financially if you don't have income. No income, no output. By design, you are not supposed to excel and exceed and receive academic accomplishments when your foundation was built on stale information. But if you are willing to change the blueprint, if you are willing to tap into your inner self, your inner fire, failure won't be an option. Today, though, I believe that we don't fear failure. We fear the public perception of failure. You see, when we fail to pause and to stop, chaos ensues. Mrs. Michelle Obama used to say, the only thing that happens in an instant is devastation. For example, about a year ago, I was riding down K Street in a taxi cab on my way to work from a lunch meeting, scrolling through Instagram and my phone, not paying attention, just in the backseat riding. And then all of a sudden, boom, a DC police cruiser rear ends the taxi. I'm in the back seat, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got things to do. And so when the emergency team responds, they say, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? And I say, I'm fine. Because I had an agenda. I had to go to work. I had to go to class that night at Georgetown Law. I had things to do. There was no way I was going to be unable to stop and to pause. Why would I be willing to subject my own body to trauma for fear of public perception of failure, subconsciously and consciously living for the applause of our supervisors and our peers and our networks? We don't want to stop. But failure, it only exists when there are two sides of failure. You have to see it from a binary perspective. You see, in life, we have options. I could have chosen to tell the emergency response team that, yeah, I need to go to the hospital, which that night I ended up at the hospital with a traumatic brain injury, and 3 days later I had a stroke, and a few days later after that I had another stroke because I was unwilling to stop and to pause. But you have to do deep reflection and introspection. You have to dive deep and believe in yourself. You have to think about putting yourself first, or you risk failure every time. There are two sides of failure in life. The first comes from life's obstacles, which you will inevitably encounter. You cannot avoid them. But the second side of failure only comes when you fail to believe in yourself, when you fail to ignite yourself, when you fail to tap into your inner fire. And when you do that, when you fail to tap into your inner fire, when you fail to ignite yourself, you allow your magic to die. Thank you.